I have been spending so much time creating efficiencies within my business, and I've mentioned it on a few of these episodes during season 2. And I wanted to kind of pull the curtain back in this episode and share what I have been doing. There are a lot of great things that I've implemented that I'm feeling really good about that I want to share. So there's 5 specific things I'm going to share in this episode and why it's so important to create these efficiencies within your business. So let's get this party started. Are you ready to open up and talk about all things business? I'm Crystal Vilkaitis, a curious entrepreneur who loves talking about business, especially over a glass of wine. I started Crystal Uncorked to share open and honest conversations about my journey and talk to other entrepreneurs about their experiences. We pull back the curtain and talk about the highs and the lows. Wine isn't required, but is recommended. This is Crystal Uncorked. All right, so I have another Costco wine. I've got Dow, which is a cab, 2019 cab from Paso Robles. Love Paso Robles, but didn't get the chance to go to Dow while I was there, hoping to go someday. But cheers to another delicious Costco wine. And we're going to talk about efficiencies today. Before I talk about the 5 things that I've implemented, I want to talk about why this is so important. I mean, I have spent a solid month just like head down. And it's been long days and it's been tiring and it's been a lot of like problem solving and trying to connect the dots between all sorts of things that we have going on. But it's been so helpful so far to where I've even had employees reach out to me and say, the new way we're doing things is life-changing. So I'm so happy I could be changing lives with my efficiencies. And so I want to talk about why this is so important first. And obviously, like you might be sitting here thinking, well, duh, I know being efficient is important, but I want to talk about like specifically where I'm seeing it and why, like, I really encourage every business to do the same thing that I am doing. Even though it took me this solid month of a lot of hard work, it's going to help speed up everything else that we're doing for myself as well as my team. And so you spend a little time up front, but it's worth it. It's going to save you time and help you see better results at the end, right? So the first reason why this is so important is we're able to be more planned out because I'm looking ahead. So we can plan out things and really assign to-dos and have deadlines versus always trying to keep our head above water. You know, it's like, okay, this webinar is coming up, or we've got this launch, or we've got this promo, or we've got a partner promo. And just because we haven't paused, we haven't really had the right person to come in, what we're calling the marketing manager, that comes in and creates all these efficiencies. So we've been doing the best with what we have, which is kind of keeping our head above water with all these different promotions. And, you know, we have gotten a lot done for the size of our team and without having some of these systems and efficiencies. So I'm really proud of the team. But then I'm also really excited to see how we build with everything that's set up. So that way we have less stress when we're not like always trying to keep our head above water. Like, oh no, this thing's going out next week and I need 7 emails written and I need a landing page, registration page created, and I need a thank you page created, and I need affiliate links created for it, and I need graphics for social media and for email and for the registration page. And then I need the slides for that webinar. Like there's a lot that goes into that one event of doing a webinar. Or, you know, there's just multiple people that are involved. We've got whoever's creating content or the graphics, whoever's doing the editing, whoever's delivering, all of that. So it's just less stress on the team when we're more planned out and we give ourselves more time and more breathing room. Now, the other benefit why this is so important is because we have more time, then we're able to be more dialed out. And this is a perfect example of something that happened today. We are sponsoring an event in April, and with our partners at Management One, they do inventory management. Pauline and I are going to go to Tucson and hang out with everybody there. And I'm so excited to be in person with people. And for this event, because we're sponsoring, we need flyers, right? Like we need information for people to take. And historically, because we just kind of are like keeping our head above water, we are designing the flyer often like the week before we go somewhere. And then you got to get it printed. And then it's like always not exactly how you want it, but you're like, done is better than perfect. So let's just move. Well, in this case, Steph, I gave her plenty enough. Steph is my graphic designer and community manager and creative genius. She does a lot at Crystal Media. I gave her plenty of time to create this flyer so we could have this back and forth. And then I could sit here, like today I was just like sitting here with it, really looking at it. What's the experience? Does this pop out to me? Does that make sense? Like it gives time so things are more dialed out. I don't feel so super stressed that we just got to go. I don't have any time. It's done, right? So less stress has been a big one here. And then just more dialed out, which also means more strategic. So when we have more time, we can ask questions like, is there anyone else that should be a part of this? Is there any other add-on that we should do here? It just allows us to really look at that campaign or the event, or whatever it is that we're doing, and push it further so we are more strategic to really help us get to our goals. So those have been really great. And the other thing is that it helps us, it's easier to say yes or no to things that come up. So for example, if we have the next quarter all mapped out of our own promotions and what we're sending and what we're launching, new training, new products, new events, whatever it may be, and a partner comes to us and they want us to send something for them, it's easy for us to now look at our calendar. We know everything that's going on. Can we make this happen? And it's a lot easier to say yes or no, where in the past we typically are like, yeah, we'll just figure it out. But then you're like moving stuff that was already there and then you're creating double work. So I just love that we can really look at that. The other thing too is like we can look and see, are we hitting our sales goals? And if we're not, then we're looking at the calendar to say, okay, what's already planned? What's coming up? What can we expect to really help us hit those goals? And, you can be planned out to a certain level, but there's always, I think, this element of being flexible and agile, which is something I love about small business because you can make decisions quicker. You can launch something faster. Let's get an email out. Let's do a webinar. Let's do a promotion to help us meet our goals if we're behind. So to an extent, you're planned out, but there can be some room in there to add things if you need it. So that's been great for us. And then the other reason why these efficiencies are so critical is that if something happens that's unexpected, somebody on the team gets sick, there's a family emergency, you need to take time off, world events, who knows, like something happens that we can't plan for. Well, if we've already planned out what's happening at least a quarter ahead and everybody's been assigned, we know what success looks like, we know who's setting everything up, we know who's tracking, who's delivering, all the things, then it's easy for whoever that person that needs to take a step back or whatever that happens can do that. The whole company doesn't crumble if somebody has a family emergency or is sick or just needs time off, you know what I mean? Or if somebody goes on vacation, like, don't you hate it when you're trying to prepare for vacation and you feel like you do a million things just to leave? And you usually always get it done because there's a timeline or deadline. But then when you come back and you have like a million things waiting for you and that feeling, that dread of like, oh, I'm coming back to so much stuff. And it's frustrating. So, you can eliminate that too by being more planned out. So you could definitely see like the reasons why having the efficiency is so important. So let's talk about how I've been doing that here at Crystal Media after I take a sip of my wine. So the first thing that I did, and I'll kind of share this in order. Some of this is like mixed in, but I really realized that we were kind of siloed within the company. So there's 9 of us kind of employees that work full-time at Crystal Media. And then I have some contractors as well. And so I was looking and I met one-to-one with a lot of or pretty much all of our employees. There's a couple that I still have to meet that will kind of tie that up completely. But I met with everybody and I looked at all of our efforts and I just really felt like we were siloed on who's doing what. And I pulled together a company meeting with Pauline and I shared that our internal theme is collaboration. I need us to focus on collaborating more. It can't be like Steph is over in her own island creating ideas and social media content, and I've got the ads team over on their own island. Like, we all need to connect and collaborate to make our messaging stronger. I always say 2 heads are better than 1. And so, that was a really great kickoff to get us all collaborating more. And then I've been working on better internal communications with my team on what's going on. Because if you are a small business like me or have worked with one, you know that things can change fast or can happen fast and maybe not everybody knows. And so they're like, what? We now partner with who? What's happening? We're doing what? And people just kind of feel left out or left behind. And when everybody is on the same page and knows what's going on, they may also have additional ideas to help us make it better. One thing that I'm loving is I pulled together a marketing team and I'll talk about this here in a second, but, speaking of collaboration, I created these teams. And one is the marketing team. And we have Jess, who is an ads manager, and she works directly with our retailers. She's in the meeting, and she's kind of almost like this outsider because she's been more siloed, focused in the ads world. But we needed somebody on the marketing team who's doing our own advertising, who really knows what our goals are, where we want to go, and help us get there through ads. So she's been a part of these, and it's just been so great because she will offer a different dynamic of conversation during these meetings, questions she brings up, and objectives or objections sometimes that she has, but wait, I'd like to play devil's advocate here. And that just makes us really look at an idea deeper and really analyze it to make sure that this is great to move forward, or we have all the pieces that we can to move forward. Of course, stuff can come up. You can't always predict everything you need, but it just makes us way more efficient when we're working together and we have a lot of collaboration. And I think that that's been a weakness for me over the years of having a consistent collaboration with my team and having good internal communication. And I know that can be challenging for other businesses. So if that's you and you're listening to this, I would definitely look at what are ways that you could create more collaboration within your business and your teams. And it might be pulling together new meetings or committees or subcommittees or teams to help achieve different goals that you have for your business. That has really been a game changer for me. The next is, like I talked about, these meetings. So we've got collaboration, everybody's on the same page. And now how does that look? And in our meetings, I don't want to meet just to meet, right? I hate when you have 5,000 meetings and you finish your day and you're like, wow, did I achieve anything on these meetings? So the structure of the meeting is really important. And for example, our marketing meetings, we have an agenda. And preparing for this new marketing meeting, I created the different areas that we need to focus on. Our Facebook ad campaign is one of those projects. Making sure, analyzing and updating our membership website, Insider, to make sure that it's the best experience is a project. Our email marketing and blog is a project. And so all of those projects, I then assigned leads, or I asked people to volunteer. And, unfortunately, so not necessarily unfortunately, but we're a small team. So I can't have all these projects and one person is a lead on one project, right? Multiple people need to be leads on multiple projects. And one thing I found was a lot of those were me. So I'm working a lot to create these, be efficient, have these processes, look ahead. And it just takes a lot of time to get ahead when you're not working that way today. And now I'm a lead on a lot of projects. And so that felt very overwhelming. But one thing I just want to say is, again, like I spent a lot of time to save time in the future. And I would just, I worked a little bit more hours, but I would ask myself, like, is there one more thing I could just knock off before I close down tonight? And I just felt really good with getting so organized and what we were creating that I didn't feel like work. It was fun. It was exciting because I know how much this is going to benefit the business. So, that was really great. And yes, that meant that a lot was on my plate. But what that also showed, and it was a big reason of me getting into this role and looking at the business this way, is I knew we needed to hire somebody. Pauline has been asking for a marketing manager for years. It has been a challenge for us, for sure. We just haven't really had a marketing manager, which I know sounds crazy town USA because we are a marketing company, but we haven't had that. And so I wanted to get into that role so I could understand, what is our marketing manager going to be doing on a day-to-day? What are they going to need? So we could find the right person and have the right training for them to be up and running smoothly. Because we did hire a marketing manager last year, and unfortunately, we just didn't have the right training. We weren't really clear on what this person is going to do and what kind of responsibilities and skills they need to have. And we hired the wrong person for the job, and we didn't give them enough support. And so that kind of slows us down, right? That's a waste of time and resources, but we learned a lot from that. That's for sure. So now I feel really good because I've been in this role. We're creating more structure. We have these teams, we have these leads. And now, like my to-do list has grown. But once this marketing manager comes in, it's great to train them and have them now be the lead on those items. So the structure, we've got our agenda. I have my team leads. We always have action items. I always include last week's action items and then this week to make sure nothing falls off. And then when we are done, I tell everybody, make sure that you're getting your action items, you're assigning. And that way, when we look at this week and we can look at last week, like, is there any open action items? It's a built-in accountability. And that's something else I'm really realizing, like, you do have to have accountability, making sure stuff gets done, the follow through, really making sure that momentum keeps going. And doing these meetings with these action items and checking on them has been really helpful for us. So that was the second thing that really has created a lot of efficiency. And even though we're spending a little bit more time in meetings, we're getting a lot of shit done in those meetings that would have ended up being a lot more time if we did the back and forth with emails, or just one person led something and then they would be missing, something that's important. It wouldn't be as strategic, all of that, right? The third thing that really created efficiencies is looking ahead. So we would rarely do that where we look quarter by quarter. Right now, we are 1 quarter ahead. So Q2, all of our marketing initiatives, webinars that we're doing, places we're speaking on other people's stages, events of our own, events we're sponsoring, all of that is on our marketing calendar. And I took that event and I went backwards of, like, what do we need? Who's doing what? When do we need it by? Really being detailed, and assigned it all on Asana. So for us to really look ahead, that was so great because then I was able to see, like, we had a gap of marketing, to our audience. And so I was able to put a webinar right in there that can help support our Q2 goals. The other thing with our Q2 goals, and that's how I started with the goal. And then you reverse engineer, what kind of campaigns are we going to have to help support those goals? And one thing I realized was a lot of the revenue was coming from an in-person event that we're having in June. And I'm like, gosh, we're really putting all of our eggs in the basket for this one event. Can we do other things that help support our goals that's not so reliant on one thing? And so being able to look ahead at that, what's going on, what are the goals? I was able to adjust the goals a little bit to add in some new strategies to help us hit our revenue goals and put those on the calendar, and then also assign to have somebody get that done, right? So that's been huge. And the the tool, the fourth thing that goes right into the fourth thing, which is using Asana, which is a project management tool to assign all this. So we've got this great, like Pauline has set up these great templates in Asana that if we're going to have a webinar, I could go right to the template and it already shows me the 13 tasks that need to happen for that webinar. So I can just copy the template and change it for this new one with new topics, new dates. Are there different speakers or different people doing stuff? And boom, it takes 30 minutes maybe to assign a whole webinar, and then everybody has what they need, and it's moving, it's getting done, which I love. And that creates that accountability. It helps us make sure we don't forget anything. The team can look at their calendar and be like, okay, here's everything I need to get done. It just keeps us incredibly organized. And the other thing that I love about Asana is we can color code things and put them in calendars. And we have our Crystal Media Marketing calendar. So I can look bird's eye view of any in-person events, our webinars, partner webinars, if there's any team member that's taking time off, because that's good to kind of see what's going on there too. Any launches, new content, our live insider trainings, everything is right there. And I could just see it all in one place. And it's just like so beautiful and it's different colors and it's like just game changing. It is life changing. So Asana, highly recommend. And then finally, we hired a marketing manager. That's my fifth thing. So it was like we saw what we needed. And I got really clear on what this role looks like and how to measure success for this role. Like, what does success look like and what will they be doing? And as I've been creating and assigning Q2 for everything we're doing and getting ahead, I've been creating training videos while I do it. That way, when my marketing manager comes in, I already have created the training because I walked through live stuff, right? So that also was a huge efficiency tactic or strategy or whatever that I did to save time and just make sure that you're following a system for this new marketing manager. Now, the marketing manager hasn't started yet, but we're very excited for this person. And I'm excited to just see this experience, having them start with us with what we've set up today versus how it was a year ago with our other marketing manager. I think it's going to be a lot smoother, and it's my hopes that they can just jump in and really just keep the ball rolling so we can then get Q3 scheduled out. And it's my goal to be 6 months scheduled out at a time. I don't want to do more than that because my industry changes so often and we work with a lot of partners and last minute stuff comes in. So, I think sometimes you can plan out too far and too much, and then you end up having to change a lot. And then it was like wasted time of doing that stuff. So trying to find that balance. But my marketing manager starts April 11th, which will be after this will air after they have started, and hopefully there's great things to report there. No pressure, marketing manager. But those are the 5 things that really helped me. And I just want to say that this is like just such great timing that all of this is done, because we have some big things happening at Crystal Media. The first is that we're celebrating our 10 years in business in September. And so that's a big deal. I want to do fun things, kind of count down to September, do a big thing in September. We'll do some stuff a little bit after September too. But that just means like we're going to need more resources and people to be talking about it. I'd like to get some press out of that and more exposure for it. So, we'll have more time to be able to focus on that 10-year. The other thing that I'm so excited about is we are doing our own in-person marketing and business conference that's called Evolve, and it's happening April 25th, 26th, and 27th in Denver, Colorado. And I would love for you to go if you have any interest in attending. And of course, I will link and you can learn more. But we just secured the venue. It's going to be at the Gaylord, which is a Marriott in Denver. It's a stunning resort. And for me, it has been my dream to create my own event. I can't I cannot express like how badly I've wanted to have my own conference. I've like cried over this. I've wanted it so bad. I've watched documentaries of people who have their own events, and I like just cry because I know that's what I'm meant to do. Like I just know I'm meant to create an experience for business people to come together and learn and be inspired and be motivated and evolve their business and their lives. And we're doing it. We're finally fucking doing it. So I'm so stoked, but that's a big responsibility. Like it's going to cost maybe, I don't know. We've got our whole budgets here. Like worst case scenario, I lose around $90,000 on this event. Like if not possibly more. But it's hard with in-person event. There's a lot I don't know because it's my first one. There's a big financial commitment in doing an in-person event. But I am ready to do it. I'm being a risk taker and embodying that word that I had on my shirt for the circus. I talked about that in a recent episode 41. And I'm being more of a risk taker. I'm following my heart and I'm doing what I want. I want to create this experience. And so because it is such a big deal and a big financial commitment, we're going to need all hands on deck of marketing this and producing it. And so I'm so thankful that we have these systems to be able to do that. Right? I can't imagine putting on an in-person event without this kind of structure. And I'm just going to take my Evolve event and put it through Asana. I'm going to create a template for it in person because then we can use that same template when we do Evolve 2024 and Evolve 2025. And you just, rinse and repeat. So don't work harder. I mean, for so many years, I have made life so challenging, so complicated. I think sometimes entrepreneurs, we're really good at that. That's like our superpower of getting in and messing shit up, making it harder. So I hope that maybe if you're having any kind of, you're feeling like you're not working as smart as you could, you're wasting time in areas, maybe you need to spend some time up front to save you time on the back end. Maybe you need to get your team on the same page, create that internal collaboration and communication and create systems to have a better running business to really help you achieve your goals while being less stressed. That's exactly what I'm trying to achieve. And so I hope that you found this helpful. And if you have a hack for creating efficiencies within your business, I want to know. Let me know. DM me on Instagram or email me cheers@crystaluncorked.com. And thanks for being here and listening, and cheers to you and to creating efficiencies and systems. It's just such a beautiful thing to have. We'll see you on the next See You. Bye. All right, let's keep this conversation going. Join me on Instagram. I'm @crystaluncorked. And I need to tell you, thank you so much for listening to this show. It truly means the world to me. If you're enjoying Crystal Uncorked, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Okay, I'll see you on the next See You. Cheers, friend.